Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to Animal Advocates Radio Voices Carry for Animals number 513 shows this evening. And I want to welcome all you aboard, all you new listeners out there. If you're listening from the web, Podbean Podcast web, you're more than welcome to come over and join us in the chat room. But there's just a few simple steps that you can take. Is go to the Google Play or the App Store and download free. Install, and then what you're going to do is search Voices Carry for Animals podcast and follow, and you're right in there, okay? And you could join us right in here in this live chat room, and it is awesome. You can speak to the guest, or you can interact with other listeners. And in this chat room, you can share the show right from in here, and also you could keep pressing the like. It keeps my show going up, and the more likes, the better. And so help me out. This thing is like modern technology at its best. I want to welcome all you that's in the chat room right now. And a big shout out to Fax Porcupine Podcast host, Reggie. Welcome aboard. Welcome back. Love to see you come in here. And if later on in the show, if you want to come on air and tell us a little bit about yourself and what your podcast is, you're more than welcome. But all of you, and hey, dog, and Sharon is in. We did it, and they're going to welcome them back. A mama cat showed up. My mother, Pat Dahmer, aka Moo, she's here, and they can't thank all you enough for your ongoing support. I just want to go over a couple things before we do get started here. My name is Debbie Dahmer, aka Mama Bear, and Mama Bear does care because she is on the air. Okay. So that's my nickname here. And Aloha just popped in. Hello, Aloha. And anyway, I produce and host this show every Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, and 4 o'clock Pacific. Listen in worldwide, everyone, because you can always go back to these on demand episodes after each show is downloaded and edited, and then it's going to be published. It can be heard on 28 other podcast websites, okay? And this is just great news. And then to the YouTube channels, you can subscribe free Voices Carry for Animals podcast, and also Animal Advocates Radio podcast on YouTube, and subscribe there too. And Darla made it. Everybody welcome. Mama Cat, we're all coming in, and this is great. This super team I got going on here. But after it's published, you can go and listen to all these shows on here. The former ones were hit 513 this evening and counting. But you can, all these other podcast websites, podserve.fm, Animal Advocates Radio, there's also on there. Also on Podbean. Once I get it published, it'll also be on there. So you could just start up a free account. You want to go to podbean.com and log in, and then press create account. And then you're going to put in your full name or nickname, your email address, create a password, check that you're not a robot, and then press create account. And you could check out my host website on there, and also on all the other Podbean or all the Podbean, the website. You can make comments. You can go on there and listen and share 24/7. That's included with my with this podcast, and I think it's awesome. Okay, so but anyway, it's also on iHeartRadio after it gets published, can be heard. Um, Also on Spotify, Amazon Podcast, Apple Podcast. This list is huge, everyone. So you can follow on all the one I'm telling you about. and they're all the shows that are also located on there. Okay, podparadise.com. We got podbay.fm, Rephonic, Boomplay, Castro, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Podchaser.com, Player.fm, Listen Notes, Podcast Addict, Audible, Podcast Republic, Podtail.com, Pandora.com, Odyssey, GoodPods.com, Panoply.fm, Podscan.fm, Audible, .com, the podcast collaborative com, and thank you all for having this podcast on there. We're going to keep going, and also check out my Voices Carry for Animals .com. You can subscribe free, and the show's there. You can go after it's downloaded and edited and published. Also listen from my website, and they're listed on there. And the podcast player is also on there, where the last shows, 5 shows, are showing, and also on the PPJ Gazette. They'll be on there, also published. ppjg dot wordpress.com, and you can follow free. And Michelle and another animal warrior sister has shown up. Hey, Michelle. But I'm going to, we're going to have another great show, everyone. And remember, keep pressing them likes, and almost a year been on this Podbean podcast app and web. And time flies and goes so fast. And I wish I would have found it many years ago. I mean, I liked Blog Talk Radio, and everything had the call in number, but it wasn't going from the web and the app. Okay, so I wish I would have found it, because this Voices Carry for Animals, I mean, it has really exploded. Okay, yes, all right, yes, keep it up, keep it up. All right. Woo! Mama Bear doing the happy dance. But anyway, keep it up, with all of your support, all the former great guests and callers, and all the listeners has made it happen. Okay, and another announcement in 2025, one of the top 2025 podcasts for animal welfare on player.fm. So hopefully it hits again, and also on goodpods.com. It had hit one of the best 2025 podcasts for 2025 under animal rights. And I mean, this is just so wonderful. Yes. And I was so uplifting and inspiring. And Buford's in the house. But anyway, hey Buford, aka Photo Bomber, he loves taking selfies, but he has entered the chat room. But anyway, I'm going to bring my guest on, welcome them back. They're doing such a great job out there. Doll Stanley, for Justice for Animals campaign, she's also back. She's been with me for many years, many great shows, and I always welcome back. Such an honor. And Sharon Stone, operation manager in Defense of Animals, that has the Hope Animal Sanctuary. I can't even talk. But there are two great advocates out there working hard in Mississippi, and they had a terrible ice storm there in Mississippi. We're going to be talking about that, how it affected the dogs and the rescuers, and hopefully we can't wait till spring comes, because it has been cold out there. And we'll also be talking how witnesses cannot be depended on in animal cruelty court cases and why. But hope all of you enjoy the show. Keep sharing it, and hope you keep spreading the word about this show. Keep helping it grow, and getting those top podcasts for 2026. Let's work on that and make it happen. But I want to bring on Sharon. You're live and on the air. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. I'm a little hoarse because of this weather, so y'all just excuse me.
Yeah, hey,
Other
that's
than
no
that,
problem.
I'm
I hope
doing
you
good.
get better, and so welcome back. This is wonderful.
Wow.
I know it's been so cold here, even in Florida, get down to 28 degrees last week. So it's not easy. It's never easy.
Oh,
So yep. So, but Sharon and Dalton, welcome back. It's such an honor to have you back, both back on. But who wants to speak first, Sharon? Do you want to, or does Dahl? Because
Just
we're
whatever y'all, whatever is your pleasure.
okay. Go, you go right ahead, and then we'll bring on Dahl right after you.
Um,
Or okay?
and tell them that you still don't have power.
I,
Yes,
I still
yes. You
don't
don't
have
have.
power at my house. It's incredible.
Whoa, and still no power, and this is day 13, right?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
ridiculous.
Oh
I
my
got power
goodness.
on Friday, but I also got four down trees from a neighboring property.
Oh my goodness.
She's
It
trying
may,
to get her children to behave while we talk.
mm.
They're wanting to bark,
Oh,
but
the louder you bark, the more you are heard. Okay, that's what we
yeah,
we got to
exactly.
do.
So the
Can you hear
sanctuary,
me now?
we were so fortunate at the sanctuary. Of course, this is not our first rodeo with an ice storm. Uh, so every one of our houses has multiple Coranda dog beds, and I'm sure all of you guys know what those are. So we just put lots of blankets in there. We have some dog houses that we use out and they put out on the back porches just in case the dogs want to get in the dog houses during the day instead of inside the house. We put those inside of each house with hay, just that in case the power went out, because at that point we didn't know. Extra food and water, and they fared perfectly fine. So the sanctuary actually was only out of power about 3 days, as opposed to 13 over here.
Mm,
So
wow.
yeah, so I mean, we were really blessed, really blessed.
Yes.
We
I
were.
mean,
We actually had some extra Coranda dog beds, and in the town where Doll lives, they have a pound.
It's a pound.
It's a pound. That it's not a shelter. It's not a. It's a pound, and the dogs were on cold, damp concrete. So we had extra Coranda beds, and we took those down there to them, and actually had two big garage heaters that we took down there to run. Of course, when they lost power, that didn't do any good. But they did have Coranda dog beds, and they did. We took blankets down there as well, so they had those to get through the really cold days, And it was really really cold. Like the feel like temperature was 5. Two
mm,
2 days in a row, really really cold. But everybody made it through it. We were blessed.
yes.
And
I mean, truly blessed.
people
Yes.
were arguing on Facebook, straw versus hay versus blankets. Straw is the best, but not everybody can get it. So use hay. And if you don't have hay, try to use wool blankets. They don't hold as badly as say cotton. But do something for your dogs. Don't just leave them out there chained in a empty doghouse or no doghouse.
Right. Cause it's hey, when we're cold, they're cold.
That's right.
Bring them inside. And if you see somebody's pet or an animal outside, please report it. Be their voice and take that action and get them the warmth because their lives are important too. Their lives matter, and when they're out there in this cold, hey, they could die from it. I mean, they could all kind of stuff can happen. So, and this weather is not no joke. I mean, it has been cold. I know it's been cold here in Florida, so I could just imagine up north. I mean, just the chill and everything, and I can't, having your electric out for how many days? Whoa, that's something that we depend on.
That's right.
So, and that we want there, we're so used to. So when it leaves us, we have to go other ways to make ourselves, feel comfortable and whatever it takes. But please, everyone, do what you can out there to help these animals that's out there tied to trees or tied to fences out in their backyard and it's cold because there's no excuse for it. It's zero excuses for it, you know,
Exactly.
because they're suffering and it's you get them out of harm's way. They could freeze to death. Okay, and this
Well,
happens.
and a
Yeah.
shout out to the Montgomery County Sheriff. That's the county I'm in now. Sharon's in Carroll County. I was in Carroll County, but the Montgomery County Sheriff had a deputy go out twice for me checking on dogs in the midst of trying to help all the people.
Wow, check that out. A big shout out. I mean, definitely, you know, and that's what it takes is teamwork. You know, people helping animals, right? I mean, that's what it takes. And
Well,
some of
and I'll tell you, we are more beyond blessed. The Carroll County Sheriff's Department, they are such a blessing to work with. I had a real a dog that I doll and I rescued 6 years ago from a really bad situation. And I'm sorry, I was looking at a power company truck passing by, hoping they were stopping, but they are not.
no, you're not. That's just
Uh,
flag them down.
uh, uh,
Yep,
uh,
flag them down.
I
Hey.
she got down and couldn't get up, and she weighs 80 pounds. So I had to get her up, and I just said, God, help me. And I went out there and put my arms around her, and I picked up that 80 pounds and got her up on the Coranda dog bed. But I knew I could not get her in my car. And so I called my granddaughter, who was not close by. My nephew he works for the telephone company. He was on conference calls. He couldn't come. So I called the deputy and I said, "Where are you?" And he told me, and I said, "Crap." And he said, "What you got?" And I told him, he said, "I'm coming across country. I can get to you really quickly. Just hold on." And he flew right over here and helped me load her in the car. I mean, that's not something that would happen in just any county. He pulled off what he was doing to come and help me with an animal, which he has done many times, by the way. So we're blessed. We are blessed with excellent law enforcement.
And let me throw this in. If you get to know your law enforcement, if they learn that you act professionally, that you know the laws, that you know how to behave yourself, you may find that in a county where you thought there was no cooperation, they will help. A lot of times the problem is we start, I hate the word ragging on them, but that's what a lot of people do. They get overly excited, they complain about things, they say the sheriff's department, law enforcement don't do anything. Well, sour grapes, it's not a good idea. And your legislators and stuff too. I had court set up for yesterday in a case that's very troubling to me. Um, on November 5th, I documented the neglect of 7 dogs. And what started it off was a photo of an 8th dog that had laid dead on the property for 2, 3, maybe 4 days.
Whoa.
And Tallahatchie County is probably it's either the first or the second poorest county in Mississippi. But that sheriff's department, the judges, the court clerks, the prosecutor, everybody is on board. And I've been helping them for 32 years. They call me whenever they need me. I call them. So we documented this and we hoped to have court. Well, the fella lawyered up. And so court kept getting postponed while I was worrying about what's going on with the dogs. They had no water when I was there. And yes, we can get a seizure order, but you have to have place to put dogs. And these were 7 hog dogs. Our sanctuary isn't set up. We're already full. All of our rescuers and friends are full. So we wound up negotiating with his attorney. At least he had to pay an attorney. It is restricted. He has to take care of the dogs. The charges have been remanded to the file for 3 months. If he does not take care of the dogs, he comes back with new charges and the old charges. And according to his neighbor, he is stepping up. I think it was a wake-up call.
It has to be. I mean, what I get tired of hearing about is slap on the wrist out there.
Right.
The small fine, some probation. That animal that got neglected or abused or killed or whatever, they didn't have a slap on the wrist. They suffered, or and it's terrible what's going on. I can't imagine on the other end of what a lot of these animals are going through. I mean, you could picture it, you could vision it, but the only one knows is that animal, and they need better lives and futures, and it's up to us to make sure, and
And you can't compare.
no,
One dog is suffering the cold. One dog is suffering a beating. To those
yeah.
individual dogs, it
Mm.
doesn't matter. They're suffering, period.
That's right. And it's not right. And no, and zero excuses for it,
Right.
Zero excuse for animal abuse.
One
Period.
of the cases that in defense of animals, if you are interested in helping us get in touch with prosecutors, I draft alerts for the Justice for Animals campaign on egregious cruelty cases across the country. Now, mostly felonies, because in order to garner enough signatures and get hold of the prosecutor and everything, if it's a misdemeanor, it's usually settled too quickly. But in some cases, right now, Myra Johnson is facing charges for putting a dog in a suitcase in her shed with its mouth bound and its feet bound. There was a second dog that was in a cage, as you can imagine, with you know what. And that dog was taken to the Humane Society. But Myra has only been charged for the one dog, and she's been charged misdemeanor aggravated cruelty, not felony. She has an additional charge of neglect. And my concern is, why have they charged her with the neglect charge for that dog? Are they planning on pleading her down? So we really, people think that the petitions don't work. Oh, they do. And I used to travel. If there's a case in Florida, Louisiana, and it's close enough, I will travel and meet with the district attorneys. And they're usually gracious and keep us well informed. What is the problem is the system. They're trying to keep people from being incarcerated. Well, you know what? They've earned incarceration.
Yeah, and they need to be, abuse an animal, go right to jail. No
Right. And
questions asked.
Dexter, Florida passed Dexter's law after poor little Dexter was decapitated the day he was adopted. And there is a
Sickening.
pre-trial hearing February 10th. That is for his appeal. He's appealing.
Mm. Yep, because that just came. Dexter's law came in effect in Florida, and it needed to be. And thanks to Governor DeSantis for signing it,
Right.
you know. And I looked at, it, I was like, this is such a. I mean, you look at it. One day after he was adopted, Dexter, and they decapitated. What excuse? How could he, appeal it? You're guilty. The evidence is there. Okay, he needs punished to the fullest
Right.
extent. No slap on the wrist. That's not right.
Well,
So
and everybody was upset with the judge, but by law, you do have to allow an appeal. And yes, he was sent home with a monitor. And according to the judge, there was a Facebook post yesterday. Um, the defense attorney said that he was cooperating, so he didn't violate that. What a shame. We could have put him back in jail right now.
oh yeah.
And they also
Mm,
have the
mm.
registry now in Florida because of
Yes. Victory, another victory, and they're trying to get about the puppy mills is coming, and I hope they get to them because them they live so terribly in there, their conditions and how they're cramped up. That's no life for them.
well, in the
No way.
USDA, I'm extremely familiar with puppy mill cases. And as we know from my history, the USDA licensed animal dealers who sell animals to research facilities. Um, the USDA actually protects them. I'm just going to come right out and say it. Each time I've had a case, I've wound up fighting with the government agencies that are supposed to protect the animals.
Mm, whoa. I thank you so much for all you're doing. We have to be their voices. Everyone turn your voices into action and help. Any way you can. Every effort counts out there,
Right. And we
right? I
need
mean,
we
every
need a young force. There's a lot of wonderful younger people out there. But folks like Sharon and I, we're in a region where, for example, everybody calls us. Nobody wants to file charges. They all call me to work the cruelty cases. They might help with the animals. Well, we need to do better than that because the time is going to come when Doll and Sharon or somebody else is just going to have to step up.
right. I mean, you're looking at generation after generation. We're not going to be on this earth forever. We have to get them trained to speak out for them too. Because it's not going to stop. But we want it to massively decrease or go away, but we're going to need more help, more support. Because we are, like Mama Cat always says, strength in numbers, and that's so true. And that's on the Community Cats United, where she's been on the show many times, and it's so power in numbers. That's what it takes. Because the more of us that come together, the stronger and better we become, and the faster the changes. Please don't look the other way. Take that action, everyone. That's the key. And I used to talk about petitions, Doll. After the show is edited and published, I'm going to put the links in there on everywhere. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that way, I already got it on my voicescarryforanimals.com website, but check it out. There's so many. Read, sign, and share. I always see on social media, sign, sign, sign. Hey, do go put that foot in the right direction and share, 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 share. For the mama bear, please, because it goes into the news feed all over social media, and then more picks up more signatures and everything, and they do work. It's up to the petition holder, download the signatures and get them to the state reps, and get the law in effect. because that's what we need. That's how to enforce is by new laws. Everyone, we can't just go tell somebody don't do that again, or we got a big protest going or rally or whatever, and it's going to change something. No, we
Well, we
have to.
also have to get to know our laws.
Yes,
Every day
yes,
on Facebook, see people saying there's no law, when most of the time, yes, there is, and and you have to know how to use it, and you have
yep,
to know which one to use. For
that's right.
example, the other day, folks were talking about cows. Okay, in Mississippi, 9741-1 covers all creatures. Yes, it's a misdemeanor, but at least it's a charge. And you can get $1,000 fine. Oh, power! Power is
You got the
back.
power back on?
Yeah,
Hey, all
power.
right. Thank God. There we go. I know you're, and so are the dogs.
Wow. I can't tell you how happy I am.
I know the dogs is
Oh,
doing the
wait.
happy dance. You listen to them; they're doing the happy dance.
Wow.
It was the magic of the program.
Something happened, I mean, that was great news.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. I'm
Wow.
so
I know.
happy.
I know you're doing the happy dance too.
Oh,
Oh,
my God.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And back to cows. If
Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Can anybody hear me
animal
in the
health,
chat room? Okay.
don't no,
So
don't call the
something.
no, don't call the Board of Animal Health, because the only thing they're going to do is come out and make sure the cows are healthy as far as contagious, and that they're being buried if they're dead. I had a case once where they came and they completely messed my case up. So um, deal with your local law enforcement, learn your laws. Uh, there's also a felony law for harming cattle that are not yours. Um, and the only thing
Okay.
are
Okay.
seizure
Can
law.
can you hear me?
You can take
Y-
all animals under the seizure law except livestock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
Okay. I can hear her. Yeah. Doll's cutting out a lot, but I can hear you clear.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Well,
I
I
thought
was
I.
just going to say the seizure law will.
Yeah. You're cutting out. Are you on speakerphone? Are you the speaker on your? Um. You're from their phone, right? Yeah, 'cause you're cutting out real bad. I can hear
Yeah.
Sharon real good. Sharon?
Hold on.
Okay, you there?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me try again. All right. Now, yes. Have you used
Okay,
habeas
there you
corpus
go.
in animal cruelty court?
I have not.
Okay, there we go.
I file cruelty charges.
Can y'all hear us?
Yes, yes, definitely. I can hear you're
Okay.
coming in clear. And Doll, I can
Okay.
hear you now coming in clear too. And
Okay.
then you guys can
Okay,
hear
I'm
me
getting
good?
closer to the phone.
I think people were
Okay.
texting me like crazy.
Oh yeah?
But if there's a will, there's a way. Uh, you know, sometimes you need to bring in your
It
fish and
is.
game.
It is power. That's the problem. Give it just a second,
Oh, okay.
and my router will power on. Hold on, just
Okay, Sharon, now you're cutting out. I don't know what's going on. I could you're coming in and going out like a
She'll be
echo.
back. Well, it's because the router is.
Or, yeah, we're having technical issues here. Yeah, because you're cutting out real bad. Are you talking close to your
Okay, it'll
phone?
be
Are
just a
you
little.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
electricity is taking a minute for the
Okay.
router.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I could hear the dogs real good, but I can't. Your guys are cutting out, so I don't know what it's. They're wanting to talk.
People keep saying we talk for the voiceless. Do they sound like they don't have voices?
Right.
Perhaps we're just not listening.
Yep. They do have it. We are the. They have voices.
I'm waiting on
We're speaking out for them and fighting for the rights. Animal rights should be granted, not ignored. You know, not swept under the carpet. Treat them with dignity and respect from all angles. Let them live in comfort, away from fear and anxiety, abuse, neglect, cruelty. They all should be free from that, living in freedom. What you ladies are doing is outstanding. In defense of animals, everyone. They're on, they have websites and on Facebook and X. I mean, they're all over the place, and it's international. Isn't that great? They're huge, and it's wonderful that everything that they're doing. And please sign those petitions, and I will have that link in there after it gets edited and published. And checking them out, read them, sign them, share, share, share. And get them out there because I see so much where there's more likes than shares. So we got to get that switched around, right? Get some more action takers taking place because that's where it comes in at, right? I mean, we can all do better. And I try when I'm on social media, where I'm on X and Facebook and LinkedIn, I try, to keep sharing it, take a couple days, maybe a week later, and share it again because not everyone's on social media the same times and days. I know I'm not. I know you ladies are not. So every effort counts out there, and it can't get no easier than sitting in the comfort of your home, your phone, your computer. Writing emails if you have a fax or copier. Hey, take that time because I know this is not the only thing I do on this podcast. I love this podcast. It's a positive impact, almost 12 years, but hey, I'm going to keep it up. And I take, you got to take your personal life, you keep that going. And also when you do your advocacy,
Yeah, it's bad.
Hey, put some effort into it and put it through news feed, wherever social media you're on, to draw attention, not to look the other way. Because when we look the other way, then guess what? No change is made, and we have to put every effort we can. Because the animals, the elderly, and the children, they do not have a voice. They're helpless, defenseless, innocent. Okay, so we have to be there for them to have them to have better lives and futures. And your voice matters, and your action matters. So whatever you can do, spread the word. Tell your neighbors, your family, your friends, your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriends, your sons and daughters. I mean, get to it because a lot of them don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We have to go and do something and make it better. Let's fix the animal cruelty problems in 2026. Because a lot of this stuff's been going on for year after year, decade after decade. I mean, doing these podcasts, it's coming in from every angle, okay? And it is sickening. There's animals that get out there and they get treated with dignity and respect, comfort homes, living out in the wild, good. And there's ones that's getting abused, neglected, I mean, killed. It's terrible. There's no excuse for it. And that's right, Mama Cat in the chat room, strength in numbers. We talk about that a lot, strength in numbers. So very true. And you ladies, you're getting what you're doing out there, Justice for Animals campaign, and they're calling in live from Mississippi, okay, and guests all over the United States. Sometimes it's out of the country, but we're making our voices heard worldwide with this podcast. Thank you, Podbean podcast app and web. So we got to keep it up, ladies. We have to keep it up. Quitters
I
never
think,
win.
and I think
Yep.
our router is back. Can you hear us clearly now?
Yeah. Okay. There you go. There you go. I can hear your dog too. He's getting into the conversation.
Well, actually, there's one dog here that thinks I'm a haint.
He wants to get his 2 cents worth in.
Well, I don't care how many times I come over, she goes, stranger danger.
Which is weird because Doll and I were together when we rescued her.
Yeah, but Sharon brought her home.
Oh yeah, that's nice though. But you two are a super team together.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it up. I just see what you're doing out there, and it's wonderful. So so uplifting and inspiring, and keep it up. We can't give up. Quitters never win, and winners never quit, and that's a fact. So we're the winner. We are winners for the animals, not losers for the animals.
You bet
We
you.
will not back down. We will not give up, and we will not look the other way. Why? Then we automatically lose. We can't do that. No
Let me
way.
tell you about a dog that we rescued a couple of months ago. He was at Dollar General hanging out, and he had almost no hair. He had severe demodectic mange, and he
Oh,
was fearful, very, very fearful. The first cold snap was coming through, and it was going to be in the teens. And we knew we had to catch him. We just had to. We tried everything we could. We set traps, and he just wasn't having any of it. He just wasn't having it. And I mean, so we did this for a week or so, on and off. And finally, and I was updating on Facebook about every day, and the people at Dollar General were just wonderful. The workers were wonderful, letting us know when they saw him and where he was, so we know where to set the trap. And finally, some friends from around the Carthage area that their glory hound trapping is their business, not business, but their lifestyle, I guess. Messaged me and asked if we would like their help, and boy, did I ever want their help. They came up here and they have is it a Molly trap?
I don't know what it's called. It's like if you had a dog pen.
Yeah,
But it's set up electrically and everything, so the door shuts when they go in.
Yep.
And there's a little side door so you can get them into a carrier safely without losing them.
Yeah, I mean they're just experts at this, and so he and his wife, their team, and they came up and they set that thing up, and they hadn't had it set up probably 30 minutes when he went in that trap, and they called me and asked me to, and the funny thing was I was at I was at the Mexican restaurant. I was being given an award for Animal Person of the Year. And right in the middle of the speech that they were making about all the work I do, I said, I'm so sorry, but I got to go. I had to go. I had to go because we caught him. And so a couple of my girls met me, and we went up there and got him and took him to the sanctuary. And he's feral. He was just feral. The dog we had a house ready for him. We put him on a Coranda dog bed, covered him up with thick blankets. It was cold, but of course our houses are heated, so we had the heat on for him. And I told him, don't let him out. Don't let him out. Don't let him out of this house. unless he's on a lead, because he's going to run. He's going to try to get away. And of course, they did let him out. And of course, he did try to get away, but he didn't manage to, because I had also told him to put a hot wire around there because I knew he was going to try to get away. Well, so we brought him in and we worked with him every day. And finally, I don't know why it took me a week or so to think of this. I put a radio in there. I've used that a lot of times. If you guys have feral puppies or feral dogs, if you put a radio in with them, they're hearing a human voice all the time. And it really makes a difference in that dog. And that's what we did. And then we found a dog that, because he loved other dogs, we found a dog at the sanctuary that he was good with, and it was like love at first sight. He today, now he will never leave the sanctuary. He's not a dog that will be adopted out. But living at the sanctuary is like living in a home, almost. So it's not like a pound. It's not like a shelter. No, it's nothing like that. So I mean, they had these two had their own house that's climate controlled, and there's two Coranda dog beds, but they typically share a bed. They want to. They don't have to. But today he loves his caregivers, and he is happy, and his all of his hair's grown back, and he's beautiful. So
Oh,
I mean,
awesome.
he would have lived his life in misery had we not caught him.
That's right. Look what you did. I mean, that is so inspiring and a happy ending.
It could
It
not happen. It
is.
couldn't be a better ending. He's so happy. He's just so happy. He runs and he plays, and I mean, he loves his partner that he lives with. He's just they're and she loves him. They're just so happy as they can be, and he'll never be cold again unless he wants to be. He doesn't have to be. As soon as we got her in there, he really settled down. And so they have 24/7 access to their own fenced in yard, which is 45 feet wide by 150 feet long. So lots of room to run and play. And they do. They both get out there and they run from one end to the other. They just
Oh,
they love their home and they love their life, and we love them too.
oh yeah. See what you did? Oh my. Thank you so much. I mean, this is so uplifting, heartwarming to hear this. That's what we want to hear on all of them, because they deserve it.
They
They
deserve
just,
it. That's
that's
good.
right.
That's
They
right.
all deserve TLC homes and being happy and living their life in comfort and love and care,
Well,
you know?
our ultimate goal always is for them to live with a family. But the reality is, all of them don't want to do that, and he doesn't. If we adopted him out to a family that would take him, he would have to start all over again, and he would be fearful for a long time, and that's not fair to him. And that's what the sanctuary is all about. It's for those dogs that cannot live in a family setting. They have a setting that is as close to a home as it can possibly be.
That's right. And we know there's a lot of animal lovers and animal advocates and animal rights activists out there that's doing their thing. Hey, look at all the big shout out to all the cross posters out there, networkers, trying to find these animals in these shelters, homes too.
That's
You
right.
know,
And we do that too, by the
and you
way.
do that too at
We
the
do
Hope
that.
Animal Sanctuary. And
Yep.
check that out, everyone. It's on their website, and check them out and see how, share it and get the word out there. And I'll thank all of you for that too. And you're finding them homes. I mean, it's just so wonderful, and inspiring to let them animals get a chance out there and find love and care and a nice home to live in. and not to be neglected or abused. There's no excuse for that.
Well, and I'll tell you one more,
Mm,
and some we got a call from a family that said that that afternoon they were out riding around. It was just they were riding around on Sunday afternoon. That's a southern thing, I guess. People get out and ride around on Sunday afternoon, and they were just riding around and they saw a house on fire, and they stopped to make sure nobody needed help. Were there people in there? They didn't know, but they stopped and ran toward the house, and there were no people in the house, but there was a mama dog with puppies on the porch, and they braved the fire and ran up there and started grabbing puppies, and one of the puppies in the confusion ran back into the fire, and instead of off the porch, they managed to get all of them. They thought all of them, and the mama to safety, and grabbed the one that ran back into the fire. Called us, and of course we said yes, we would take them. When they got to the sanctuary, seven, there were eight in all. Seven of them were in good shape. One, we noticed right away that the bottom of her little feet were severely burned.
mm.
And on closer inspection, we noticed that a couple of her toes were gone. They had burned off. So when with people, it is with dogs as it is with people, you do hydrotherapy. You have to run water over them every day to make that dead skin slough off so the new skin will come. And it's painful. Now we've had to do it before, and we know, and we keep some pain medicine that the vet has given us, liquid, and we give them that 45 minutes before we start, but nothing can stop that pain. When we started running the water over this little dog, on her left side, on her face, on her head, on her leg, all of the hair came off and all of the skin came off. I mean, it was a severe, it's a very, very severe burn. For
Mm.
4 days, she refused to eat and drink, and one of the girls took that on as her project. And the dog, because of the severe burn, could not regulate her body temperature. So she had to be kept on a heating pad 24/7. So Jeannie would take the little dog home with her at night, bring her back during the day where she would do water therapy and put antibiotic cream on her and coconut oil several times a day to keep it soft. On the fourth day, the little dog started eating a little bit on her own. Jeannie was force feeding her all those 4 days. We didn't know she was gonna make it, but Jeannie hung in there with her, and on day four, the little dog decided she wanted to eat, and she started eating. And when Jeannie would do the hydrotherapy every day, that little dog, and I've got videos of it, you can hear her just crying. The little dog cried and Jeannie cried, and Jeannie called me and she said, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. She cries every time. And I said, you got to. You got to do it, because if you don't, she's not going to have a life. She's not going to have any life at all. And Jeannie gritted her teeth and got in there, and she did it every day. Every day. This went on for a long time. And guess what? That dog went on transport, went up north, got to the rescue partner up north that agreed to take her. The kennel manager adopted her. So I hear from her all the time. And she's living the best life she could possibly live. And that's because of mainly that's because of Jeannie's dedication and what she was willing to do for that dog.
Oh yeah, that is so great news, inspiring. I mean, just that effort of helping out, doing what you can to make that animal's life better and better conditions. I love hearing them happy endings
Yeah,
because it means so much.
We
Just
don't
think,
have enough of those, do we?
right. And it's like, when you you make that effort to do something and you help them make that change, it can be done. You
That's right.
know, just get involved and do what you can do because that's when the change starts. The positive changes, bring the negative into the positive. So,
You want to tell them about the Pyrenees situation? Tell 'em a little bit. We don't have much time left, but
oh yeah, we can go past. My shows on Blog Talk Radio were an hour, but on this one I could run longer. So we don't have to rush or anything. Okay.
Oh,
'Cause- And yeah, so that's the good news. If you ladies don't mind,
well, I'll just tell you a couple of quick ones. I'll make them as quick as possible. First, quickly, right before Christmas, I finally said I'm going to take a couple of weeks vacation before the year is up and my vacation doesn't exist anymore. Well, day one, I won't tell you what happened, but it was bad and I went. By the time my vacation was over, I had rescued 14 dogs, 9 of which were puppies that I stuck with Sharon. And then I got a dog from a house fire and a puppy. And unfortunately, the dog is going to have to stay with me. She's got lung damage and she had advanced heartworms and they can't treat her. So she will stay with me. But Sharon and I don't think we've told you about the man that he's a painting contractor and he loves Pyrenees. And
he's a hoarder.
I think if we're going to be honest, we'll call him a hoarder. But the sheriff's department in Chickasaw County, now they don't call me often, but when they get desperate, I'm the phone number. And so they wanted me to take his 17 Pyrenees. What were we going to do with them? They weren't tame. They loved him. He loved them. Breeding? No, that wasn't good. So Sharon and I stepped in. It didn't take much to talk her into joining. And we went there 4 weeks in a row and treated his dogs for demodectic mange. And they got over it. And then I got them all spayed or neutered through the Mississippi State University spay and neuter program for rescues. Their third year veterinary students perform the surgeries under the supervision of a vet. So the man has his dogs and he still stays in touch with us, asking us questions. But his dogs are alive and happy and they're not breeding.
And they don't have the mange anymore.
Right.
right, all right.
And he has the property for them. They are happy. They're not,
Yes.
and they are well fed.
Yeah.
Good news. That's positive news. And ladies, I wanted to make. I've just passed this. What was it? Last night, but the Mississippi governor Tate Reeves signs bill making animal cruelty an automatic felony. Thank you, Governor Tate Reeves.
That's why I'm
Yes.
saying, please get to know your laws. That was
Yes.
passed during COVID.
Wow.
Somebody's just now posting that. And I see people posting all the time about the FACT Act. You better read it. It's for federal crimes and federal property. No, the FBI is not going to come to Carroll County and take somebody to jail for leaving their dog outside.
That's the PACT Act. That was back in what I believe I had shows on that one. I believe it was 2018 or 2019. I've seen those come through.
Yeah, it was Trump's first office.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember that because I had
It's mostly for crush videos.
Right.
And any horrific crime committed on federal property.
So it does include everything.
Yesterday, where they were telling people, the federal government's going to do this in your neighborhood. No, they're not.
They're not doing it. That's
Well,
another thing to
that, but
enforce.
that's what we've
Enforce it.
got local law enforcement for. And
Yep,
then we've
that's
got
right.
ordinances. But as we all know, in case you don't know, an ordinance in a city or a county is restricted to, it can't be a felony. It can only be a misdemeanor. And the fines have to go according. Anything that's going to be a felony, the state handles that. Local law enforcement, of course, make the arrest, and you go to either the municipal court where they bind it over to the grand jury, or you go to justice court, which is the county court, and it gets bound over to the grand jury if there's the evidence for it warranting it being prosecuted as a felony.
Okay. Yep.
Then the circuit court is the one who actually handles the case. And in some states, the prosecutor for that circuit court is called a district attorney. And in other states like Florida, they're called state attorney.
Okay. So there's a process to go through with,
Yes.
to get it, into effect.
Well,
And
and
so,
one really good thing in Mississippi, our state seizure law, 97-41-2. Any court, you can go to the justice court, you can go to the municipal court, you can go to chancery or circuit. Whatever judge is available can sign the seizure order. And then the cruelty part of the case is handled in the court of jurisdiction.
okay. Yep. And keep those laws coming in. That's what they need to enforce them and to make sure they're enforced. That's the way it's got to be. Because if they get a slap on the wrist, probation and a fine, that's not harsh enough. It is not harsh enough
Well,
when they're
and for some folks, we ask for mental health evaluation and treatment, and it may be appropriate for some people. For people who are just mean, maybe need anger management,
yes,
uh, they've got to have a big stick in front of them. They have to feel like they could go back to jail. That's why
yep,
sometimes it isn't so bad from my perspective if they get jail time and then they have a period of probation. Because if they mess up, they're going back, plus they're going back up for what they did.
right. Yeah, and another thing I want to also bring up, Dahl and Sharon, is this is important too. How witnesses cannot be depended on in
Oh,
animal cruelty court cases and
thank
why.
you. Thank you.
Yes, that's
The
so
two
important.
people, the case that I was in court for yesterday, but it was handled outside of court. My witnesses suddenly decided they weren't coming. They absolutely refused. They said they were
What?
being threatened, their house would be burned, blah, 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 blah. So I had to drop one of the charges because the dead dog that was lying on the property, I didn't see it. I only got a picture of it. I can only testify to what I see, the evidence I bring in. And it can't be, well, they told me. There can be no hearsay. If there's something to be said, the witness has to be there. And witnesses will do this to you more than you think. And it's great to say, well, you can subpoena them. That doesn't mean they're going to cooperate when they get in court. They could stand there and say, well, that's not what I said.
Mm,
Fortunately, I kept text messages. And be careful what you keep, because anything you keep on a case is privy to the defense attorney. Don't say anything you shouldn't say. and don't do anything you shouldn't do. And trespass, that's a big thing. Do not trespass. Make sure that when you go with law enforcement, there's probable cause. If you have trespass to gain your evidence, it is not admissible.
Right. I mean, but when they back out like that, that doesn't give the animal justice, you know. And I know it's a crazy world out there, getting threats and people that's vindictive and want to make threats to you. You know,
Well, and in
oh,
this case, the defense attorney wanted to file trespass charges on me and the deputy. No, they wouldn't have stuck. Um, but the judge had already looked it up and everything. But the reality is a defense attorney is going to come at you with anything they've got. So be prepared.
right. Be prepared to what you're going to present. You know, and don't back down because with threats and maybe death threats and all that, and that's not bringing justice for the animal that went through either whether charges are being filed.
Well, and I tell you what, Doll and I have
Mm,
seen time and time and time again. Law enforcement does not recognize the danger involved when you go to somebody's house and you are taking their animals. Emotions run very high, and they just don't see those people as a danger, but they are dangerous. We were on one case one time where, I mean, the woman was a Looney Tune, and instead of putting her in the back of that, she was trying to choke a dog.
And she hit
mm,
me.
So she hit dog. She was trying to choke the dog because she would rather see it dead than us take it. That's what she said. So
whoa.
law enforcement, and we now know one of the deputies very well, but at that time he was a young deputy, and they just don't know. And instead of putting her in the back of their car, where she couldn't hurt anybody, they made her go in the house. And I was thinking, well, that might not have been a great idea because she could come out with a gun or something. She didn't, thank goodness, but she could have.
She even had cats tied in the rain,
She had them
What?
chained. She
chained
she
and
had
tied.
cats on chains. Uh, w-
Mm,
the first video, this girl sent me a video, and the first one was dogs on chains, and I said, unfortunately, we hate it, but it's not against the law. And the next video was cats on chains. Well, listen, I don't know of anybody that's ever seen that.
no.
So Doll and I had been told not to go there, not to get involved, but we went and we got involved anyway.
And it was raining.
And the day before, it was a rainstorm, and the cats' chains were tangled up. They could not get into She had little garbage cans, like bathroom garbage cans. That was what she had for their shelter, but they could not reach the shelter. I took a picture of one cat that was afraid and was trying to reach the shelter, and he's at the end of that chain reaching his hands out toward that shelter. It's a fantastic picture. But I mean, that woman was seriously mentally ill. I mean, she was dangerous. When the dogs, and this is exactly what she told the deputy, who said, where do you get all these animals? And she said, I go to town, and if I see them, I stop and call them, and if they come to me, I bring them out here. And when they died from starvation, she would take them to the back of the property and dump them on the back of the property and go get another one to take its place. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Doll and I have, together and separately, have rescued thousands of dogs. But the dogs that came from that property were some of the most emotionally injured dogs that I've ever seen. I don't know what she did, and I don't want to know, but and these were dogs that, by her own admission, would come to her. They belonged to people. They weren't just dogs, they belonged to people and they were loved and trusted humans until she came along.
One of the tiny dogs, little Louise, is still alive with our friend Debbie in Jackson.
Okay, you there? I didn't lose you, did? Okay, okay. Go ahead.
When I stop talking, I just stop.
I don't know if I lost you or what. Yeah, but are you ladies ready to take any calls?
Sure.
You're okay.
I
If
think
any,
we've talked enough.
hey, this is another great show, ladies, and keep it up. You know, always looking forward to having you back on the show again and again. Keep it the right in the spotlight. Keep it, not let it fizzle out because this is so important. Everything that you're saying out there, because all these animals out there deserve better lives and futures, and it's up to us to make it happen. So whatever you could do, everyone out there, to help out. And oh, before I take any calls, you want to give your website out and maybe Facebook page or wherever you're at, and let the audience know they probably already know or included or following or whatever. But the ones that aren't, always know what goes on behind the scenes, behind closed doors. It's so important. Don't think everything's always going smooth because it's not.
That's right. That's a
Right?
true story. So
Yep.
you can go to www.ida. Let me make sure I tell this right. idausa.org, and from there you can go to the campaigns, which is where you'll find Justice for Animals, sanctuaries, which is where you'll find Hope Animal Sanctuary and others. So anything having to do with in defense of animals you can find it from this page.
That's great. And remind them again, hey, the petitions are on there. Please read, sign, and share. What
That,
I do is I go copy in the address bar, where the take action page is, and put it in a post it. Please sign, read it,
mhm.
and pass it all over social media, and let them see it. And then keep resharing it. Because the more signatures out there, everyone, the faster the changes.
Yep. And if you're interested in seeing Hope Animal Sanctuary, and by the way, it is a one of a kind. Yeah, I don't think there's another one like it in the world, as far as we could tell. From that page, you go to sanctuaries and then go to Hope Animal Sanctuary, uh, discover more, and click on that. And there's a picture of the sanctuary.
Yeah, and it's awesome what you're doing.
There's
Hope
20
Animal Sanctuary.
buildings.
Yep.
There's 20 dog buildings and then a central building.
Hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
And on the other side, we still have 3 horses. 2 that I rescued that are now 30 years old.
Wow. Yep. Check it out, everyone, because that's awesome what you're doing. Hope Animal Sanctuary, and it's on their website. There's a link. You
Hmm.
know, so just press it and check it out. Spread the word, because I know if I once I start copying, I love to copy and paste. Put it where the address bar is and post it all over the place, and people out there are interested. They do share, so that's a plus right there. Keep
Right.
it going, keep it out there moving, going viral.
And one more plug for petitions. There are judges who have actually said, and one I know for sure, quoted in the newspaper, that the thousands of signatures they received from us asking for maximum sentencing influenced their sentencing.
See,
They want to know the public cares.
that's right. Your voice matters. All of our voices matter. Don't look the other way or sweep it under the carpet. Hey, let your voice be heard.
That's right.
Just like this podcast, making voices heard worldwide out there. So don't be shy. Come, step up to the plate and speak out for them because it's so very important. Do what you need to do to help out and spread the word. You're on there. Whether you like it or whatever, press that share, share, share for the mama bear, okay?
There you go.
Because that's when it goes in the news feed and gets out there on any social media.
Mm-hmm.
If it just stays on your page, good luck with that one. But because how many people is going to visit your page maybe they do, maybe they don't. But when it gets out news feed, that's where it's happening. That's where it's moving. You know. So, yep. And like Mama Cat just in the chat room, a lot of people have said that petitions do not help. Yes, they do. It's up to the petition holder. I've seen them. A lot of victories come through with petitions. So can't go against it. And then I've seen them out there floating around where the petition holder does not go download the signatures and it's out there spacing out in cyberspace world and it gets nowhere. That's not the way to do it. We want to see change. We don't want to see it let it prevail. We want to see change. And I do. I believe those petitions work because I've been involved in many of them. When a victory comes through, it's like, all right, look, this is proof. This is proof. I've seen with a lot of signatures, and I have a small amount of signatures passed. So get your signature in there, and press that. Don't just put signed. Put signed and shared. That's where it's happening, right? Right, ladies.
That's right.
Well, one good example of putting the pressure on is Wyoming, Cody Roberts, who ran down the female wolf with his snowmobile, injured
Yes,
her. I won't even go into the details. They were not going to prosecute him. They said that that was acceptable in Wyoming. Well, he is now facing, uh, he has a judge that won't drop the charges.
that's a plus. Okay, he shouldn't have. He shouldn't drop the charges. He's guilty. How can he be not guilty or let's like blow it off and say no? We'll just let him slide this time. No.
Well, even in Mississippi, where 9741 encompasses all creatures except cats and dogs because they have their own law. I have had a lot of trouble getting prosecutors to prosecute when someone has done something heinous to wildlife. In one case, it was an alligator and they got prosecuted. In another case, they were prosecuting someone, and unfortunately, the game warden passed away from cancer, so the guy got off. But keep pushing it. And like I said, take it to your local courts. And if they want the fish and wildlife folks mixed in with it, whether it's federal or local, stay in the case because a lot of times they're going to cater to the hunters.
Yep, that's right. We seen that here in Florida with that Florida bear hunt in 2025, December
Right.
3rd through the 28th, and they put. I mean, Bear Warriors United. I had Adam on here. It was Bear Defenders. They was having big peaceful protests and everything, and it still passed. And it was an injustice vote because the FWC, it was 5 out of the 7 that were either developers or hunters. Those
Yeah.
bears did not have a chance,
Yeah.
and it was sad and it was heartbreaking, and the fight continues because there's a couple lawsuits on them, So I hope that in this year that it gets stopped. They said, oh, 52. Well, they didn't have way stations or not, so somebody's not telling the truth somewhere.
Yeah.
How do they know? I mean, there's a lot of land be covered. Was out there watching them? What was going on? It was so injustice and unfair. I'm all the way. I'm the mama bear, so I'm always standing up for them wildlife. Leave them alone. Let them live in freedom, and then away from fear and anxiety. The mama bear and the cubs and everything. They have every right to share this earth just like we do. Okay, animal rights should be granted, not violated. Animal cruelty is animal cruelty. And now they're trying to get where they have like you can have up to 6 dogs attack them and kill them. That's not right. That is so
Well,
unfair
and the poor
and
dogs get
barbaric.
ripped up too. You
Yep.
know, the same with hog dogging. The dogs
Yep.
get ripped up.
Yep. And it's not the dog's fault. They were trained to kill.
Right.
And that don't look at them. Look at how they were trained. Who is the roots of the problem here? You know. I wish they would put a little love in their heart and change things and look the other way and help the animals out, not go against them. And it's sickening. So, but ladies, if anybody wants to have any comments or questions for either Sharon Stone or Doll Stanley, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
and
more
I'm
than
going to have to
welcome.
go pretty quickly because I have a dog to take for transport.
Okay, no problem, doll. It's always an honor to have you on. Looking forward to you coming back on again and again.
Thank
Can't
you.
thank you enough, and keep up
Hey,
the great work. So Sharon, did you want to take any calls? Because you're more than welcome to. And anybody out there that's listening from the web, Podbean Podcast web, thank you for tuning in. If you want to join us into the chat room, you're more than welcome to. Just a few simple steps from your phone, your laptop, your iPad, or your tablet, and go to Google Play or the App Store, download it if you haven't already, and then search for Voices Carry for Animals podcast, follow, and you're in. You will get notifications every Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time that the show is starting up. Click join and you'll enter the chat room. Or you could go to the Podbean Podcast app, press the live link, and all the shows that's going live at 7 o'clock will be listed, and press it, and you'll also enter the chat room. And you can listen and share 24/7, 365 days a year. All these on demand episodes. So
ding dong.
ding dong is. I miss that, don't you, Mama Cat?
I do. I was looking for a button to push, but there's not one.
Yep. But hey, and Mama Cat, you ladies probably remember Mama Cat, Ray Bittner. The takes care of like 90 colony cats out there in Colorado. And so then her and her husband George, they take good care of her and the grandkids, right? It's
That's
awesome.
right.
They and keep them warm. And they look at Mama Cat like, hey, standing ovation. She's got the food coming and the water, keeping us warm.
Hey, I have a question, or it's kind of off topic, but still about critters. Um, what do you ladies think about what's going on with the iguanas down there?
In Florida?
Yeah, I was on YouTube a couple times this week, and there's um many channels, many YouTube channels now for iguana hunters. And I mean,
What?
they just go, they get hired by different, um, like golf courses and apartment buildings. I guess there's so many of them that they're actually destroying the ecosystems in the marshes and they're eating all the plants. And I mean, they go out there. This one guy, I watched his video and he had like 80 some iguanas from one apartment complex.
Well,
And
and that's another people problem. That's because
right. I
people
mean,
brought them
I
in where
know,
they didn't belong.
I know they're invasive and all that, and I get it. You need to get them out of there. I get all that. I'm just not sure if shooting them, I mean, they're shooting them out of the trees. I'm
Mm.
just not sure what to think about all that, and I was wanting to get somebody else's opinion, see how you guys thought about that.
Well, honestly, you can wish there was a trap and transport and release, but are you just going to crowd up another area? You can't always take wildlife from one place to another with it being beneficial for them or the animals that are already there.
There's got
At
to be
least they should. I
thousands.
wish they were humanely euthanized, but
There had to be thousands of those things at this one apartment, and
yeah.
it was a large apartment complex. It had a lake and probably 15, 20 large buildings, blah blah blah, and many trees and a lot of shrubbery. And I didn't realize that those iguanas ate that stuff. They eat the roots out. I mean, they just literally can decimate a golf course in a matter of weeks. I didn't realize that. And so I was just kind of wondering what, everybody else thought about. I mean, you know what I mean.
I'll tell you, well, there was an iguana that was several weeks ago out in front of the house in a bush in front of the house, right? And I thought it was a snake, and I was looking and everything, and I kept looking in, and it was a big iguana, almost 4 foot long. I can see you pictures, did I, Mama Cat?
Yeah.
And put a bush or two blankets over that bush, and then in the morning went out there and moved the branches around so the sun would hit it. And I was like, oh, and I read where they just got going like a coma, and so the sun was hitting on it and everything, and I seen it blink, and I was like, good, he's alive. And I was taking the pictures and everything, and all of a sudden he jumped, and I jumped, and it scared me to death. but I was like, check this out. That's the first time, first ever happened. So the next day, I seen him running around because there's a canal across the street. He was in the neighbor's yard, so I knew that. Look, he's alive.
Well, these people at the apartment buildings had kind of,
No,
it was like a 50-50 split on how they were feeling. A lot of them wanted them out of there because they were ruining everything, but there was some people that were out there just, I mean, ranting and raving and grabbing the guy's equipment and throwing it in the lake. And yeah,
Hi.
Wow.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I get it because they are critters and you hate
Yep.
to sit in your living room and watch them, pluck them off one by one and then have a huge pile. But they, I wrote to them on their bio of their channel, and they don't discard those. They actually donate it to food banks, and it's all made into food. They don't throw it out, which is a plus, I guess on one side of it. But I didn't even know you could eat those. But
No,
yeah,
I didn't
so
either. Wow.
I wasn't real sure what to think about all that because, I mean, there's got to be just thousands of them in that one area. I can't even imagine how many are actually down there.
Mm,
And if they get
wow.
into
I
the
hate it,
mangroves,
ladies. I have to sign off. I've got to
Okay.
go get a dog and transport it to the transporter.
Okay, Dole, you be
Thank you,
careful.
thank you, thank
Hey,
you.
hey, you're so welcome, and so glad your electric came back on. All right,
Yeah, yeah, and Sharon's got some stuff to do now that the power's on.
It will take me weeks to get this house put back together. Oh, Lord.
Hey, what was the 13 days without electric?
13
Oh,
days without power.
oh, ouch.
I
Yep.
know it's awful.
Yep, but Dawn, thank you so much, and looking forward to having you back on again. Okay, keep
You
up the
so
outstanding work you're doing.
We thank
Keep
yeah.
all
it
of you,
up.
everybody, for joining. We always enjoy this so much.
Hey, I enjoy it too. I'm telling you, I do. I love this Podbean podcast app and web. And I hope you hear me, Podbean, because I am the Podbean Queen. I only wished.
thanks,
Hey,
Sharon and Doll, for everything you do. Talk to
Yes,
you
and
next time.
yeah, and Aloha wanted to say get on air. Aloha, you there? You're live and on the air. Go right ahead.
Oh, hello, hello.
Yeah.
Hi, hi. Is
Hey.
Doll or Sharon still there, or did they both
Uh,
left?
Yeah.
this,
Doll had to leave, but
this is
Sharon's still
Sharon.
there.
I'm here.
Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Well, question though, Sharon, have you considered using habeas corpus though when rescuing animals? Because that's what Denise Young did with the beagles in Wisconsin.
Doll said she had not used habeas corpus. She's the expert on court
Ah,
cases,
I figured she would be. That's what I thought. She had to leave. Can I ask the question?
but
Yes.
she has not used habeas corpus. She
Mm,
files cruelty charges.
okay. I'm just
Yep.
wondering if she did those.
Yep. Hey, and a happy birthday to Harry, her dog,
Yeah, he
her
turned
first son.
10.
Yes.
He
Happy
turned 10 on the
birthday.
first.
Yep. And ladies, I'm going to be closing it down here.
Thank you,
Um,
Debbie.
Another great show, I'll tell you, and also very informative and educational, and bringing awareness, and that all of you, please, keep doing what you're doing, and keep it up. This Podbean podcast is an awesome platform to getting the word out there, and once I get it published out there, it's going to be heard on 28 other podcast websites and also two YouTube channels, and that's including my two websites that I have. And spread the word. Keep getting the word out there, and letting people know that don't know what's going on. And let's in 2026 let's fix these animal cruelty problems that's happening. Be contact your legislators. They are the big dogs. And like Mama Cat, go to your the city council meetings where a start is. Sign those petitions. It means so much. But I'm going to close down here. And next week, I hope you all join us. I got a new guest coming on. You probably heard of him, Donnie Moss, and he's the founder of theirturn.net. He runs animal rights, vegan campaigns, and produces videos. Okay, so hope you join us next week at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, and 4 o'clock Pacific, and listening worldwide. And you have time to, download the either Google Play or App Store and search for Voices Carry for Animals podcast. Follow, and you could join us here on the app in the chat room. You're more than welcome to come in. And I want to thank you all for tuning in again because it's so inspiring and uplifting to have all your continuous support out there. And just remember, we all of us that come together, we are better and stronger, right, Mama Cat?
We
Strength
are.
in numbers. And how's hubby doing?
He's doing good, actually.
Is he
Getting
listening
better.
in? Hi, George.
He's getting
How is it
sassy
going?
again.
All right, keep the prayers coming.
When they get
But
sassy, they're getting better.
yep, and we want to hear them get better, get back to strength and back to normal. And
Yep,
I know you and the family is right by his side. So,
absolutely.
but Sharon, I can't thank you enough for coming back on.
Hey,
It's
I
been one.
enjoyed it.
Oh, you and me both. You and me both. Looking forward to you coming back. Stay in contact.
Yep.
And once this is published, I will send you the new link because the ones out there will change over once put the new link in. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll send it to you anyway, where you can go back and listen 24/7 on demand episodes.
Sounds great.
So, and Darla, I want to thank you. She's out there listening too. If anybody, I'm gonna go in a couple minutes, but I want to hope you all join us next. We've got a great lineup for 2026. Another year of great guests and callers, and all you listeners out there for tuning in and supporting this show. Keep pressing that like. It builds up this podcast on Podbean podcast app and web. And we'll continue. And on the 20th of this month will be 1 year. Can you believe it,
Yeah,
Mama Cat? I
I know
remember.
it.
I remember before when I was changing over from Blog Talk at the end of January, and then had this up and running a month later. I know I was like scared at first because I was like, oh no, because I did my mistakes. Don't put the chat room on the web and the app at the same time. It'll shut
No,
down the show.
no, don't do that. And don't hit the button several times because it'll keep laughing.
The sound effects. That was a good one.
Yeah,
But
that was
any
funny.
but anyway, Mama Cat, are you ready to
I'm
rock and
ready.
roll? All right, go
Paw
ahead.
in, paw in hand, united we stand against all animal neglect and cruelty across the land. Good night, everybody. God
Amen.
bless.
Hey Sharon,
Thanks,
thank you so
Sharon.
much, and Doll too.
Thank you guys.
Yes, and I can't wait to have you back on.
I'm
Hey,
glad your
just let
power is
us know
back
when you're
on.
ready.
You got it. With our voices, the animals will be heard. With our actions, the animals will seek justice. Good night, everyone, and
Good
thank you
night.
all for tuning in.
Good night, Dad. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night, may God
Good
bless
night,
you all.
Carla. Good night, Aloha.
Good
Goodbye,
night.
aloha. My mother,
Good night.
Moose, A.K. Pat Dahmer,
Bye, Pat.
Good night.
Michelle, Mama Cat, George. Thank you.